Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here in Singapore, which, by the way, seems to be city of lion, and I hope that lion and Kinguin will get on friends together. They never met in nature, but this time we have this unique opportunity. So what I wanted to talk about today is I prepared a little presentation about blockchain, but I gave it a little bit different title, which is more of a question. Is it really about blockchain, or is it a block change? And we should really take it seriously. Let me tell you why. Within this short presentation, I will try to tease the question, why blockchain rather than blockchain itself? I'll show you some essential benefits coming from the blockchain itself. What are the common mistakes that we see? In our daily operations, we meet a number of people trying to think of solutions based on blockchain, and they actually do not see all the pitfalls that are on the way to the working solutions. Some key challenges, it's also in the deck, and I will also briefly introduce my team to you, as well as our involvement in the Kinguin's project. So, why blockchain, in my opinion? This is very important. I wanted to start with a little explanation what blockchain is really about, and it is really about trust. And the trust changes. Right now we have this big global crisis of trust. There was a time when people used to trust the organizations, the institutions, but it's gone. There's very few organizations in this world that have certain level of trust. But if you think carefully, would you really give the keys, your password to the bank, for example, and store it at Google? Or would you store it with Facebook or with any of the big technology organizations that people trust? We are giving the big ones a lot of data about ourselves, but some of them we never do. And it's good, actually. The same with our banks. They seem to be the organizations of the public trust, but as a matter of fact, we do not want to share certain information with the bank. So it's a bit tricky. We do not trust any institution in full. And it's the same about trust in people, the authorities. The personal authorities, they're also gone. There are very few people in this world that deserve very broad trust. Most of the people, they deserve the trust in the very narrow, specialized disciplines. And it makes it difficult for the people to choose to whom to trust. So what they do, they start to trust the crowd. They start to trust the opinions of others, the mass opinions of others, perfectly if they are verified opinions. And the problem with that is the whole commercial world, but not only commercial world, all our life is based on the trust. We take certain actions, or we choose the way how we act, assuming that it will do something good for our life. So we trust in the opinions of others in order to be able to act and choose our way. And the thing is that if we think about the business relies on the same. So basically, in order to be able to make a certain transaction, we need to have some level of confidence about how it's going to end up. What it really causes is that when the organizations are dealing with their customers have a very high level of expectations about what they are going to get. So the people tend really to expect upfront what is going to happen when I'm going to take this or the other action. And the companies that right now are trying to move forward, they are trying to increase the revenue and the share in the market in the respective area. These companies have a huge challenge, how to deliver the solution that is guaranteeing to the customers safety, reliability, transparency, is giving him a broad choice, but at the same time is allowing later on to work directly when the pre-selection was made. It's quite difficult. It's a big challenge. So the bigger organization it's more difficult actually, because it takes a complete change in the mindset, in the way how the organization is working. It needs to happen on all levels. Some of the organizations cannot cope with that easily. And it's actually what is happening right now, that many small players for whom it's much easier to adapt to the new conditions and come up with this comprehensive approach to the customer are taking the bigger share in the market. I do personally believe that the technology that we are talking about today, which is blockchain, it's something that is going to drive the exponential acceleration. And most of the organizations are really used to the evolutionary change, very small steps in different areas, but very small steps. Only very few can cope with these huge changes that define new business models, so that the organization can really have a massive effect of the modifications of the use of such a technology. So if we speak about block change rather than blockchain, I think this change is about the transformation of the business model. So the organization that wants to adapt, wants to implement the blockchain solution, first needs to change its operating model. And it needs to be the complete change, as I said, on the all levels. Only then we can come to the blockchain itself. So what it is really all about? What is blockchain? And in my opinion, it has three functions. First function, it's a teaser. The blockchain is there in order to bug the business leaders day and night, to make them think about how big change is coming in the economy. The other thing that the blockchain is, it's really showing how the transactions of the future will look like. And this is going to be a very different view from what we see right now. The characteristics of the transactions will be different. And last but not least, blockchain is a technology. Technology that encompasses all of these components, these characteristics that I'll be talking about today in one. If we speak about the features of blockchain, and let me tell you a little bit more about it. Yeah, one slide's gone, so I will have to make it from the memory. So first of all, blockchain is allowing you to think of a completely new business models that never existed before. And it is very important. It is important because there's a difficulty in understanding it for the currently running businesses. People are used to do their everyday job, so they are not open for the revolutions. And blockchain is really about the revolution. It is allowing to represent, to gain advantages, faster transactions, transactions that are resilient. It ensures immutability of records and so on. It's also ensuring the security. So this is the next feature. It's allowing us to use the distributed ledger. It comes with an elimination of the points of failures, single point of failures that do exist in the current landscapes of the systems. But if we speak about the other key things, it requires ecosystem approach. Many people that are coming to us, they are asking for advice. They always point out that just one quality of the blockchain. And then my reply is usually, don't think of blockchain if there is other technology that can actually do it for you. So blockchain is not an actual remedium for all the pains. This is not an universal solution. Blockchain may be a mean to get to the target only if you really look for majority or all of the qualities that it comes with. And blockchain is allowing also virtual assets creation and distribution. Very unique thing. In a way, it does it. So I'll talk about it a little bit later on as well. So what are the mistakes? I mentioned it to you. People come to us and they ask about the blockchain solutions, and we say, don't think of blockchain, think about your digital business transformation. This is coming first. You need to understand how you want to run your business, and only then we can talk about technology. So a large portion of work we do is an advisory. We are technology experts. We know very well what blockchain can do. We work through a number of use cases where it worked. We worked through the cases where it didn't. And believe it or not, but 90% of cases are where it didn't work. Because people were choosing the technology first and then trying to adapt the business. And it doesn't work this way. Then people quite often hear about the specific characteristic of blockchain. They select one, they think it's a golden grail, and they want to chase it. So it's not the way to go. If you don't think about ecosystem, about all the qualities and characteristics, don't do it. Likely, there is traditional IT technology and really much more people in this world that can help you and yet will make it cheaper and easier for you. in IT world. The other thing is lack of training, and it's somehow connected. People do not understand really the nature of the blockchain itself, so you have to have a skilled staff on board in order to get on a blockchain project. And also you need to have a good partner. If you don't have a good technology partner that rather than thinking of the income will think of the good and the goal that you have in front of you, you are screwed. You won't make it. And finally, if you are following the crowd, the hype, however you want to call it, it's not going to work. There is no one-size-fits-all solution in the blockchain world. You cannot just copy-paste. Each case is slightly different and may require slightly different approach. Then, speaking about the key challenges, I grouped it into 4 groups. First one is very general. So, here we think about the ecosystem definition. If you have a very narrow approach, likely you can achieve it with a different technology. If you think broadly, if you think about your partners, if you think about your customers, even competitors, this is a good approach. If you look holistically. You need to ensure scalability, which is quite challenging if you make wrong technology choices, for example. And also, there is a big concern about energy consumption right now, speaking about Bitcoin, mining, and so on. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The regulatory problems. So, public administration in many places in this world is actually against any kind of blockchain solutions because they kind of sound like a support for the cryptocurrencies. And the word crypto scares the administration, scares the government's officials. They don't know about it enough in order to understand what kind of risks are there and what kind of risks aren't. The implementation-related problems, so lack of good partners, the issues related with the security and privacy, somehow related to these regulatory problems, and the integration. Blockchain solutions never live alone. We are not having any blockchain solution in the vacuum. It always has to support an ecosystem that you already have in your company. So basically the integration of the blockchain and any other solutions that may be there, IoT components, AI and so on, it has to, these components needs to work with your existing ecosystem. And the other problems, so the issues with the current technology stack, very close to my heart. My technology team is working on it day and night in order to understand which ones are trustworthy, which aren't, what are the limitations and so on, and there are plenty of it. Related to this switching cost, if you make a wrong choice now, which is possible, then you will have to move over to another solution, and there is a cost embedded in it. Then there is also a lack of standards speaking about certain operations. So these standards are being created on a daily basis. The progress is very fast, but in some areas it's creating a risk. And finally, availability of skills. So the resources in blockchain development are scarce. There is a lack of it in general, globally. If you compare demand and supply, there is a huge gap. So basically, it's also a challenge. So let me tell you a little bit about our story, the story of our company, which is a bit unusual. The story started when I came out from the private business, working for the big corporates for years, actually, in the international environment. In order to join the public administration in Poland, that at the time was looking for the revolution, for the technology revolution. I joined there and I started to create a team of professionals that had an experience from all different sectors, from finance, banking, insurance, pharma, you name it. Telecoms, banks in Poland are very advanced, so it's a very good sector to take a good specialist from. So we created a dream team over there, and which became famous, and we started to do something that never had place in the public administration before. Very unusual adventure, but as in politics, it happens, even though we had excellent results, there was a decision that we have to stop our mission. So we thought for a moment, are we going back to business and do what we do very well? So we move on with the digital transformation, or do we do something different? And we've decided that it will be better if we form a team, a company that will focus on the modern technologies, on the high tech, on blockchain, AI. And that's what we did. So the company name really refers to two things. First thing is a scale of a change. this scale that is coming with these technologies is massive. That's why it's so difficult to understand its impact and the consequences of the choices. The other thing is the speed at which it is coming. People and organizations cannot cope with that. It's very difficult. It's complex. It's huge. So basically, the C square stands for the speed of light, yet squared. And we believe that our team has enough energy in order to help in such a digital transformation. And that's what we do best. So basically, we focus on blockchain. We cover all the aspects. Just as with all the benefits of blockchain that should be of your interest if you want to implement such a solution, the same story is with our company. We do consulting around the solutions. Yet before getting any job done, we want to make sure that you will be successful as a business. The other thing is a solution delivery. We also educate not only our partners, but also broadly the market. We also educate the public administration and also create the community. So there is quite a strong community right now in Poland, and we are the center of gravity for all these guys, small companies usually, that are joining us in creating the biggest organization with the biggest number of developers skilled in blockchain. We have some world champions in programming on board. We have great IT architects because, as I mentioned to you, it's not all about blockchain. It's about how it's going to tie into your ecosystem. And finally, the managers that are focused on the customer success. So a little bit about the Kinguins project. This project, as you may have heard of, won the second prize at the Global Blockchain Competition. And in my opinion, it's mostly thanks to the fact that it's thinking of all these important aspects. So first of all, it's about the ecosystem creation. It's not about blockchain at all, in a way. It's a change for the whole ecosystem. The other thing, it's focused on all various benefits coming from the blockchain implementation. Not just one. It's not about digital currency. It's not about the transactions. It's about all these different aspects, including security. I think this is one of the reasons why it was ranked so high. And last but not least, the approach that is being taken here, this is something that we always advise to our customers, take a phased approach. Don't think that you know everything about where you want to be in 2 or 3 years from now, because you have to be agile. You have to be able to make step-by-step small course corrections as needed in order to be able to deliver. So this is also a very important thing, and I think it should be considered in all ICOs. So MC Square Solutions is the technology partner of Kinguin in the journey and the digital business transformation project. This is all about it, business change. Thank you very much.